Well, good morning if you're here live, and if you're watching this on YouTube, this is going to be the training for anybody who really wants to go build this big. And the greatest thing about what you're about to learn is you can do as much or as little of this as you choose. In the beginning, you may just do a little bit of it. But as paychecks start warranting your time more and you start deciding that your why gets bigger, or maybe you're looking for a career change or a true retirement, or maybe you want to create total financial independence for your family, well, then you're just going to do a whole lot more of what you're about to learn today. So I've got to set the stage. The call is actually going to be about how to set up and then actually do a three-way call, or what we call a two-on-one presentation, whether that be virtually or whether that be in person at a coffee shop, kitchen table, tailgate of a truck on a construction site. It really doesn't matter. But that's gonna be the whole gist of it. But I got to set it up so you'll know how to apply it. So just know there's two approaches to building your new business that you've joined. And one of those is what we call a passive approach. And the passive approach is where you're going to put a lot of stuff out there on social media, and you're going to passively let people ask you questions. And you're looking there at the screen of what that could look like, where you're going to put out our two posts today via boards. And they're by the way, next Wednesday or the following YouTube video you'll get in a week will be exactly what we call our slenderized system of growth. I've got some really good people coming on next week to talk about how to maximize this system. And that'll all be recorded too. But just so I'm not training on this system today, I'm going to be training on the conversion of how to take a customer to a brand partner with a three-way call and or a two-on-one business presentation. So we're going to post twice a day. We're going to work messages. We're going to sell drops. We're going to convert drops to brand partners. That's what we're going to spend a lot of time on today. And then you can see there are all the things you add in. That'll be the training for the next day. Then we're going to plug those customers in. And by the way, this is all important. When you get those customers, make sure you're plugging them into your favorite customer Facebook group. But this is the big thing on the conversion to help you set up the three-way call you're about to learn. And that is, you've got to check in with your customers a minimum of once every 3 days. But all the good converters are in constant correspondence with their customers. Is there room for automation in our business? Yes. But there's zero chance automation will ever build you a big business. It just an asset. What will build you a big business is developing relationships and putting time and energy into the next person's lives and helping them be better physically or financially. You're going to help them with any negative things they're encountering. And then when you do get the positive response there, that's when we set up the three-way call. And we're going to go into that in just a second. But I've got to add one last thing. We'll come back to that in 1 second. But I want to go to the active recruiting. So the active recruiting is we're inviting them to actually take a look at our business, which is now going to lead us to the actual training today. These are the 4 things we're training on today. But they can absolutely be applied strictly into the passive approach, meaning you don't have to pick up the phone and call somebody if you've got a great passive system where everybody's reaching out to you constantly. Now you just got to get good at converting those and moving them into what you're about to see here. So these are the things we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about like the generality of customers to brand partners, or just direct approach on a business partner. But we're going to talk about how to invite them into launch parties, two-on-one presentations, and three-way calls. So what I'm going to do is unshare my screen. That way everybody can see this, the ones that we'll call up and have speak. And by the way, if you're a senior officer above, a leader, you're good at any of this stuff, I invite you to chime in. And some of you that I see, I'm actually going to call on you, because what we're about to talk about, there's multiple pathways to get it done. And a lot of times people will have a nugget for you that somebody else might not have. I might not know to tell you. So let's just begin with this. Let's begin with the passive approach. We've got somebody that's bought a box of drops. We've followed up with them, just as I mentioned, a couple of times. We've gotten a couple of positive responses. Now we're going to send the text over for the conversion. And there's lots of text scripts out there. I won't put that out there today. Sarah, you're welcome to drop any of these text scripts in there that you might have from people. But I'll just use the one that I use all the time. I've got it memorized. Going to use it nonstop. And when I say it out loud, it may not be verbatim word for word. But I either text or tell them this. I say, listen, you can continue buying these boxes retail from me, but I don't want you to. I feel bad selling to you at that price. I wish you would, or would like for you to consider buying a $29.95 wholesale account like I did and getting them at the same price I do for about $100 a box. And if you have interest, I can show you how to get yours for free. And if you have any interest, I can also show you how to create an extra income for life. Okay. You don't have to, like, that was a little bit long and a text script. You can shorten that up some, but you've got to get, like, you've got to appeal to two people. You got to appeal to the woman that maybe is really only here for the box of drops, wants a discount. You don't want to run that person off. But you also have to have an approach where you appeal to the business woman or man that's more interested in creating income than they are taking a box of drops and balancing the hormones. Like, you've got to understand, we're talking about those two worlds at all times, and it's not the exact same script that's going to have the exact same effectiveness for both of those candidates. But here's where the training starts today. Whatever script you send, when you get a yes, I'm interested, that is where most of us begin to mess up. Number one, we start throwing up on them, which I mean just over talking it. We say too much. Number two, if we've done an approach in public, it's not a customer, we just approach somebody in the 5-foot rule, and they say, yes, I'm interested in a social media business, or I'm interested in creating more income from my house. Then we throw up on them. So my golden rule, and if you want to write this down, this is the rule I have lived by for 2 decades in this industry. I separate the approach from the presentation. It's almost never that I will share what I'm talking about on the initial approach. I don't know if she's on here or not, but I just recently signed up a lady who financed a truck for me, brand new truck. In there, I told her, I said, you're the best I've ever seen at doing this. Your personality is unbelievable. I know you make great money doing it, but I also know the car business. I know you probably work 60 or 80 hours a week. And I just said to her, would you ever have any interest in creating a residual income and maybe making the same kind of money and not having to do this? And she said, I dream about it all day, every day. So I did not tell her a thing. I didn't tell her the home-based business. I didn't tell her his partner co. I didn't tell her his nutrition. I told her nothing. Her name is Jennifer. You can ask her. I said, Jennifer, I said, this is not the right environment, but if you would give me a time frame, I'll buy you a cup of coffee and we can meet. She was local. I'll buy you a cup of coffee and we can meet up and I can show you. So I was moving that into a 2-on-1. We're going to come back. Sorry, I'm off track a little bit. We're going to come back now. We're going to start with the 3-way and the customer. So when you get the yes, the only reason I brought that story up was you can't mix up the invitation and the presentation because you'll lose them more times than you want. So everybody can get the easy ones. It's the other 90%, the hard ones with the hard questions, the skepticisms, the things we've got to overcome. So that's when we're going to say, listen, if you're interested, I just need about 5 minutes of your time. And this is specific. When is good for you? And you just get the time frame. And we're going to talk about the 3-way call from here. So Brenda, if you don't mind, and I see Carrie Hicks there, and I know Fred Duff is with me. I'm going to call on all of y'all. We can kind of role play a little bit. So let's just say Carrie Hicks was that customer. Carrie says, yes, I've got 5 minutes. I'm going to text Carrie, and Carrie says at 3 o'clock this afternoon. So I say, Carrie, okay, I'm going to call you at 3. And it's up to you whether you say this or not. You can wait and do it on the 3-way calls. I'm going to give you 2 options. You can say there, I'm going to have my friend Brenda Carlton from Denver on there with me. Carrie, I'm just going to type this on text or tell her, Carrie, she's just way more knowledgeable than me. I don't want you asking me questions I can't answer. So I'm going to edify her and give her that information. Or I won't say that at all. Like I know sometimes that like anything can run people off. So sometimes I won't even say I'm bringing a third party on. I'll just say, I'll call you at 3 o'clock. And when I call Carrie at 3, I will have already called Brenda. Brenda will already be there with me. So when Carrie answers, we're merged together. Brenda's in the background being silent. And so Brenda, if you don't mind, you're going to help me now. Okay. So I'm going to say, because I'm going to tell you what my job is. I'm you right now. I'm not the person on the 3-way call. I'm the one setting it up. So Carrie has agreed. She gets there. So here's how I'm going to start it. I'm going to say, hey, Carrie, how are you doing? Just play along with me, Carrie. Sorry to put you on the spot, by the way.
Let me unmute. I'm doing great, Todd.
So Carrie, I ended up getting Brenda Carlton from Denver, Colorado on the line with us. She does really well. She actually makes a full-time living at it. And she's crazy passionate about these drops. She's way more knowledgeable than me. And I just totally respect her And I felt like she could do a better job explaining this than I could. So Carrie, if you don't mind, I'm going to let her tell you about this over the next couple of minutes. But Brenda, you got to understand Carrie, like this girl's a nurse. She taught for the type 2 diabetes association. She's already had a good experience on her drop. She's lost 10 pounds, but she has some interest in for sure getting a discount. She may not know it yet, but I think she could do really well financially at this. So Brenda, would you mind sharing with her real quick how that works?
Absolutely. Well, hey, Carrie, thanks for jumping on the call. Now, how do you know Todd?
So we go way back. So we've been doing this for about 11 years now, right, Todd?
That's right.
So yeah, that's great. I like how you did that simplicity of it. It was basically you just put it out there. It's a small introduction and you go with it.
And the key is the edification on both sides. So I'm about to practice what I preach. It's hard for me to do this. Like it's hard for some of you to do this. I'm going to shut up after I say this. But once I connect the dot, I'm not allowed to talk again until I'm asked a question as the brand new person, as the person that set up the three-way. So let's go back now. So I've edified Carrie to Brenda. I've edified Brenda to Carrie. So Brenda, if you don't mind, I want you to carry away as it's a normal three-way. And Carrie, I want you to ask her any of the hard questions that you feel like you get asked all the time.
Okay.
Okay. So, Carrie, tell me about what you do. You've been a nurse, girl. How long you been a nurse?
So I've been a nurse for since the 1900s.
Okay.
And I've been teaching people how to balance their blood sugars and detox and lessen inflammation. And I've got a lot of people who have started releasing weight using the slenderized drops. So I'm really liking the results that everybody is having with that.
Awesome. Okay. So now are you on the drops?
I am.
What kind of results have you had, girl?
So I am finally sleeping through the night after 20 years, and I'm no longer having hot flashes, and my inflammation is way down. So I am loving them myself. I'm telling everybody about the drops.
That that was me when we got started on them. Me too. So you're ready to share the drops with other people?
Absolutely. Is it going to be hard though? I mean, I don't have a lot of time.
Girl, been in this industry 23 years. This is the easiest system I have ever done. If people are on social media, it's literally a plug and play. And so when I came in and saw how simple it was, I said yes, because I did not want to be chained to another phone or whatever. And so, but the passion is what drives me, and I believe that everybody that breathes the air and eats food, sleeps, needs these drops. And the reason is because I watched a miraculous transformation with my very own daughter. She was struggling with major brain fog, extreme confusion, sudden rapid weight gain, and she just wanted to sleep her life away. Knowing something was wrong, went to the doctor only to hear that her labs were normal, and the doctor wanted to put her on birth control. Well, she's 51 years old. That was not an option. She reached out to one of her friends who's a homeopathic educator, and she got her started on the drops. Girl, in 5 days, her life began to change. By the end of the third week, she had lost her jean size and was feeling like a human again. And so she asked me to go to a meeting. And when I understood and saw what these drops were, I thought everybody that I know needs these drops. And so the drops are a given. They work. They're homeopathic. There's no conflict with any medication. So did Todd share with you that there is an opportunity for you to maybe get the drops free or maybe do a little side gig business?
So actually he did. He didn't tell me a lot about it, but Brenda, let me tell you, I am very frugal, and if I can save a dime and make some money on top of it, I may be all in on that. So you will definitely have to share that with me.
Well, that's what happened for us. My daughter actually bought the drops retail from her friend. And then when she took me to a meeting and I learned about this, I'm a discount girl. So I went back to her friend and said, "Can you get a discount?" And she said, "Yes." And I said, "Well, tell me about that." And she said, "Well, it's $29.95." And I said, $29.95 what? A month, a year, or what? And she goes, "No, ma'am, it's a one-time $29.95." And I said, "Well, what does that get me?" And she said, "A 30% discount." And I said, Really? Okay, I'm interested. So I called my daughter back and we actually both got a membership and said yes to the drops. And I said yes to the business because coming from this industry, I saw immediately this was a no brainer. And it has been the best thing. I'm having the time of my life. I'm 70 years old and I have never felt like this ever. And I am loving sharing these amazing products. I have a product that I know I can trust and a passion to share what I have found with people. I just want everybody to feel like I do.
Brenda, I want to be just like you when I grow up. So if that's what it takes, I want to do it too.
Okay, well, let's get you hooked back up with Todd. I'm going to hand you back to Todd. Todd's going to walk you through what to do next. Todd, Carrie is interested in doing this business, so I think you need to get her signed up, show her what's in it for her, and show her what could be for her should she decide to pursue this journey. Thank you so much, Carrie.
Thank
Bless
you,
you. I look
Brenda.
forward to meeting you in person.
Same here.
Okay, so this is where before the call is made, whoever's helping you, you need the close kind of planned out if you haven't ever worked with them before. So if I'm proficient, whoever is the credibility is the best one to close. But if I'm not proficient, then Brenda's got to do the close it out for me. So she's handed it back to me. So what I will say at that point is, listen, we've got a couple of choices, Carrie, and I'll just send you a smart link over. And while that is like an Amazon sign up. Well, I'll have everything already put in the cart. You'll all be set. All you got to do is fill it out and pay, and you'll be in our system, and you'll own your own business and have 157 tax breaks. But if you want to just start with us at a basic level of 200 points, that qualifies your business, gets you ready to start making money. You can do a 4-pack of drops for 371 plus shipping and tax. And when you do that, we're gonna download a system on your phone. We're gonna show you how to work it, get you posting twice a day, the same post you saw me posting when you bought the drops, and it just works. And you're gonna sell 3 of them, and you're gonna sell them really quickly, and you're gonna have all your money back.
Some juice.
But Carrie, I would prefer that you come in at top pay, and top pay is a 30-pack. It's a little bit more expensive. It's going to be $24.99 plus shipping and tax. However, when we sell these 30 boxes, you're going to have over $2,500 profit, all of your money back. So we're going to make you $2,500 in just a couple of weeks, if you'll just do the system and let me help you. And I don't want you to focus on the $24.99. I want you to focus on the profitability. I'm going to help you every day. We're going to work you through the issues, the problems, whatever anxiety you might have. I'll help you make your first post. I want you to go ahead and take a before picture of yourself, because when we get your before and after picture, we're going to drop it into this system and it's going to go viral. And then I'll start teaching you all the tricks of the trade of how to build from there. So Carrie, if you don't mind, come back with some negative things and let me let Brenda and I see if we can overcome some negativity.
So I'm not sure I need to talk to Tyson about this because that's a lot of money and we really have to follow our budget.
Yeah, so so Carrie, and by the way, I'm just going to tell you the skill set I learned a long time ago, so you'll understand what I'm about to do. You've got to be relatable. So I'll just say, because I can relate, I understand totally, Carrie. When I got started in this industry, I was living paycheck to paycheck, and my start was on borrowed money. But what I've now learned is until I did something different, I was never going to get out of that. And listen, I always think a husband and wife should make a decision together. Is there a time frame if you don't want to make the decision without him? Is there a time frame today that we can get on the phone and do a 3-way with him?
Yeah, we can probably do that for sure.
Okay, let's get that set up and I'll help you walk it through with him. But Carrie, I'm just going to reassure you, like, we're going to put this on a card, I'm sure, initially. But if you'll just do what I tell you, and if you're willing to post twice a day on your social media with my help, we're going to not only get all your money back quickly, we're going to turn you a profit and start changing the whole dynamics of your household this next 30 days. So I was just looking to see if Susan Frank or Susan Cameron or Kim Gray were here.
Hey, Todd,
Yes, go ahead, Fred.
I can't tell you, you said it, but nothing is more important when a spouse says, I need to. If you try to push that through, you're probably going to lose everything, even the customer. And you've got to get the law buy-in. And sometimes I've had spouses say to me, well, I'll explain it to him. And I go, well, let me ask you a question. What do you do for a living? They'll tell me, can I do what you do and say a 10-minute presentation on the phone? Well, no. Good. I've been doing this for a while. We know what we're doing. Let me make sure your husband gets the correct information 100% so he's making the best decision for the family.
And then to close this three-way out, we're going to move to a direct approach three-way. Is the ones that are the best at this that I work with. There's a lot of people really good at it. I just don't get to be on the front lines with you, but there's probably nobody better that I directly work with than Kim Gray, Susan Frank, and Susan Cameron on the close. And they all have the same magic. One, they're not scared to ask. That's 90% of it right there. I am scared a lot of times. And number two, they focus on the outcome, not the money they're spending. Meaning that when someone's worried about buying a 4-pack, a 10-pack, or a 30-pack, they take the focus off that immediately and get it on the profitability, the return, the system. We're going to help you. I'm going to be your legs. We're going to all those kind of things. So anything anybody wants to add there before I switch over? By the way, Ann, Tammy Maltby, and Fred, I'm about to use y'all on this one, next one. Anything you
Todd,
want to add? Go ahead.
Todd, yeah. You know, and when that happens, when Carrie just said, I'd really like to talk to my husband, I would say I am all over that, because this is going to be so much better when the both of you are on the same page. But here's what I want you to know. I will be beside you on this journey. We're going to do this together. And I have a goal when somebody comes forward. My biggest goal is to get a return on your investment ASAP. What that means is before the credit card bill comes due. And the other bonus to all of this is your story will follow you through your journey, and people will do what you do. So as you go forward and you present options to people, they will turn to you and say, well, what did you do, Carrie? And Carrie will respond, well, I got to ultimate as quickly as possible. Hope that helps.
Yeah, so thank you, Brenda. That was something I was about to omit. Everybody that starts with a 30-pack, they have so much more authority asking the next person to start with a 30-pack. Like, don't get me wrong, I understand it's not possible sometimes, but I'm just saying the quicker you get into top pay, the more authority you have and confidence you have helping the next person to get to top pay. Okay, we're going to use a direct approach real quick on three-way.
Can I say one thing, this is Regina.
Yeah, go ahead, Regina.
Yeah. I like that you said to be relatable when people come back and say, well, I can't afford a 30-pack right now. For some reason, whenever I was signed up, I had never tried the drops, anything, but for some reason, I'm very analytical. And for some reason, I wanted to see the numbers and the money part of the 4-pack, the 10-pack, and the 30-pack. And 30-pack back then was $2,700. That's with taxes and shipping, everything. I seen the profit day one. The time I looked at it, day one, I seen with the profit I could make. I could double my money. I had full confidence. I've never been in sales or any kind of marketing or anything before. I seen the profit right up front. So I signed up with a $30, got to ultimate. I don't know how I did that, but I know how to do that whenever I get people on a three-way call. So you're talking about like after you get them and they say they want to sign up and sell and everything, I know how to explain all that to them. But if I could figure that how to do that some way, enlightening where they could see it very clearly on day one, that would be remarkable. And I guess Susan Frank and Kim Gray and Susan Cameron are doing that.
That's exactly what they do. And
Yeah.
when I walk into a doctor's office or a med spa, someplace where I know that, they're probably not going to be as interested in building the business, they're going to be more of a retailer. That's all I talk about. I just show the 30-pack and I draw the numbers out. This is what it costs per unit, buying it at a 30 at a time, and this is what you're going to sell at. And generally in those places are going to sell it straight retail 176, and you're going to make $100 a box. So
Right.
30.
People don't understand, in order to start a business or to have a business, you have to invest some money in that business. Is that
By the
true?
way,
Todd, I find that another good point to make is, if they're willing to post, for a 4-pack, we talk about buy 3, get 1 free. You mean sell 3, get 1 for free, right? And a 10-pack, you sell 5, you've broken even, and the rest is all profit. For a 30-pack, you sell 15, and the rest 15 is all profit. So you've got to help them break the numbers down where they can see, hey, 30 people respond to your post. Hey, you've got you've got 15 people that are committed to a 30 pack. You've already got it paid for. Then
That's
that
right.
way, for a husband, that helps them realize they can pay their investment off quickly and put a profit in their pocket quickly.
I didn't even ask my husband. I just jumped on it.
And
Hey, can I interrupt for a second? This is Christy. Hey Regina, when I do a three-way call and somebody's got their person on there, I make sure that while we're talking, I send them, it's a little post that's out there and it shows you the 4-pack, shows you the 10-pack, shows you the 30-pack, so that I can show them what investment opportunity it is to get that 30-pack and what kind of money they're going to make. So it's right.
I have that, but
Yeah.
that's a great idea.
Yeah.
And
So while I'm
everybody
talking,
that has a
it's right there.
form like that, however you're showing profitability, if you don't mind dropping that in the chat and sharing it, would just be freaking awesome. And Sarah, I had never heard what Michelle McKay just said. So if we could do another little flyer on, maybe 2 flyers, one on the profitability of a 4, 10, and 30 pack, selling it at least at 167.
Yep.
And then if we could also do one though, I'd never heard sell 5, you break even, and sell 15, you break even. That's really good. I mean, we always do the 3, sell 3, get yours for free, but I love that too, because sometimes that's how some minds think.
I
Well,
will
and if they
definitely get
think
that
I've only
made.
got to sell 5, versus, what I'm saying, that they get their investment back. That's how I break it down, because you want to show them exactly how to break even and how to make a profit.
Then you
That's
can
really good,
push
Michelle.
them
Really
to
good.
ultimate. You got to push them to get, the others. If you could just get them with that $30 to begin with. And sometimes I'll even split a $30 with somebody. If I know they're really selling really well, I'll do that with them.
Okay, so we're going to switch into a direct approach 3-way and just keep on going with this same conversation. And then after that, we'll move that to now inviting to a 2-on-1 presentation. So what we're going to do is we're going to pretend that I am out in public. Let's just say I went to the Apple store and got the new iPhone the other day. So let's just say while I'm standing there, I meet Ann Washington. Ann, I always pronounce her last name wrong. So I'm just going to say Ann. I met Ann there. We were just both waiting on our iPhones and we just started talking. And so if you don't mind, Ann, just play along with me, and and what we're going to do is show you how to bring it into conversation.
Okay.
So you're getting the new iPhone 17 Pro Max today too, Ann?
Yes, I am.
I've gotten a new iPhone every single year except last year, because I kept reading there wasn't much done, but I cannot wait to get this.
What are you most excited about?
Okay, there, she gave it to me. She gave me my opportunity right there. I thought I got to work harder. Well, I do everything from my phone in my business. On my own business, work from home. And so I just always needed an updated camera, updated everything. It just makes my job way, way easier. And so I used to be a football coach, and I started doing this little business from my phone, and it retired me.
That's awesome. So what do you do?
Okay, she again made it easy. It won't always be that easy, but I'm always going to give a person an opportunity to ask me instead of me asking them, because I got a little bit more open window when they ask. So Ann asked me. So, well, what happened was, Ann, is I was coaching football. I had 4 children, a wife home with them. I was living paycheck to paycheck, and somebody just told me about a little business I could do on social media and from my phone. And I just started for extra income, but over the course of a couple of years, it actually surpassed my income. And it's all that I do now. And I'm always looking for other people. And this is my trick I use all the time. I immediately tell them what I recognize great in them. And you've got such a wonderful, inviting smile. You've got great communication skills. You are exactly who I'm looking for. This is a terrible environment to talk about it at. But if you would give me 5 minutes sometime on the phone, I could kind of give you an idea, explanation on the phone sometime.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm always open to opportunities.
Okay, now I will footnote this. I would not invite Ann to a 3-way. I would invite Ann to a Zoom, because it's a business approach, but we're going to come back on that in just a second. So we're just going to go ahead and move this as a 3-way. But I personally would not have done a 3-way in this particular scenario, especially with Ann not giving me any hard time. She made it really easy. So Ann, what day is good for you and what time? Could you do it later this afternoon?
Yeah, I have about 20 minutes later
Would you-
later today when I'm in the car.
Okay, would you mind me grabbing your number from you real quick?
No, it's fine.
Okay, so what I always do is I put it in and I'll say, I'm going to call you and just text you my name, that we can save it in. And what time will that 20 minutes be, Ann?
At 2:30.
Okay. When that ends, because remember, we're still standing there together. I'm not talking about the business anymore. Like, I'll just use an example. And because Ann had her daughter with her at the event, I'm just going to pretend her daughter's at the Apple store too. By the way, your daughter is beautiful. I love that bow in her hair.
Oh, she's so much fun. We have the best time. She's with me all the time.
So at that moment, we're just going to get back on her family, just whatever else, just because what's more important than me proving my business is me proving myself that I'm a likable, trustable person that's not going to be trying to sell her something. Like just be friends and conversate. And we'll be dealing with the Apple guys, so just make it normal. Don't overdo it. That's if you open your mouth, that's the first step. And 90% of people never open their mouth. But then the 10% open their mouth, the 90% that don't convert, they at that moment they start throwing up when the timing's not right. They overtalk it. They give them what they think is decision-making information. They really don't have a clue what we do. So, Ann's, give me what time did you say, Ann? I'm sorry.
2:30.
Okay. So I'm going to immediately text Fred and say, "Hey, Fred, I've got a three-way at 2:30 this afternoon. By chance, are you free?" Fred?
Sir,
Okay.
I'm free.
Okay, I was going to say if he's not, then I'm going to go to my next person, Tammy, because that happens all the time. You got to have several people in your arsenal when you get that time, because the one thing you don't want to do is move the time around on your potential candidate, because they're the most fragile one. So that you can use crossline, anybody proficient. So I'm making the three-way call now. So ring, 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 and you answer.
Hey, Todd.
Hey, Ann, how are you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
Very good. Thanks for giving me this chance to share this with you. I'm telling you, we won't be able to do it completely justice in the next 4 or 5 minutes, but if you do end up with interest, we can move, to a Zoom and I can kind of show you physically how everything works. But I'm not as seasoned at this as a friend of mine, Fred. He does this full time. He's really good at it. And he's the one that taught me and was able to help me get full time at it. But so I asked him to come on with us too. And he's just remarkable. He can answer any question you could potentially have, and he's made a ton of money doing this, and he's also does it full time. Fred, I met Ann standing in line waiting on our new iPhones, and she just had this inviting smile. She was so nice and kind to everybody around her. And we started talking. Her communication skills were just crazy. And I just felt like she could be a absolute rock star in our company. And I asked her, would she have 5 minutes to hear about it? So Fred, would you mind sharing it with her real quick, kind of give her a small synopsis of what we do?
You bet. Hey, Ann, privilege of meeting you. Todd had so many wonderful things to say about you. He doesn't get impressed with too many people so suddenly, but he said you had this electrifying smile and that you had great communication skills. And the other thing Todd and I really share together, we both have daughters, and he said you had a pretty daughter. So I'm excited.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
She's
So how old is she again?
truly a gift. She's my youngest.
Yeah.
She's 8.
8. Okay.
Mhm.
And real quick, so kind of see where we're at all this. What are you currently doing for a living? Or are you maybe just staying home, which is not a bad thing? What do you do?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just staying home, trying to keep everything moving, busy.
Gotcha.
I have 5 kids, so
Yeah, you're busy from 8 to faint.
yeah, there you go.
So, well, listen, we have a really, really simple business based and designed especially for people who are really busy like you. Because one thing we don't have is a lot of time. I understand you do a little bit of social media. Is that correct?
I post every once in a while, and I like to follow my favorites and,
Yeah.
things like that.
Good for you, because we have a system that really could very easily lead you to an international business on a very limited part-time basis. Now, when I was going to school, I got in trouble. I have a real severe dyslexia, and my teachers thought I was just being a clown. I'm almost 70, so that's why back in those days they didn't know what it was, and I got in big trouble for copying. But listen, man, we get paid really well to copy today, as long as you're copying the right person. So we have a system with Facebook that if you can follow a simple system, very simple, posting at 9 and 3, and any questions that come up, we can guarantee that you have the answers. You always have Todd and myself to go to as backup. And that's going to generate activity and our products are so in demand, the hardest thing you're going to have to do, I believe, is just keeping the product around to get it in the hands of those who need it. After all, you know, and I know right now, probably the biggest issue we have in America right now, 70% of the people are pre-diabetic. Some of it's their fault, some of it isn't. But here's what I do know. I believe we have a solution to help people with their health and help them with their wealth. Because the reality is, I bet you'd really enjoy having this free time if your husband was there with you as well. Wouldn't it be nice to be able to just to go whenever you want to go, when you want to go? Just imagine what that'd be like when you go on vacation, say to Disney World. Instead of buying a one-way airline ticket, you could go, we'll buy the tickets when we're done. I mean, that's just the way to live when we're done. And all of that takes money. So can you just imagine yourself hosting a few times a day, being coachable and willing to work with an international business that will help you with the products that cover so many things? We can't do all that now. But if I could show you ways, say in a 10 or 15-minute Zoom, would you be willing to get on that Zoom to learn the details?
Yeah, I'd be willing to, but like what I mean, I'm not really great at social media. Like I'm not
Neither,
an influencer or anything.
neither am I. In fact, I got a PhD in reality. It's called Poor, Hungry, and Driven. So I'm not a rocket scientist. Ask my wife; she'll verify that for you. But what I do have is the ability to copy and paste. So we'll give you everything you need to do just that. You'll copy some information we have, and here's what I promise you, Aunt. We'll never do anything that will embarrass you or that's immoral in any fashion, form, or way. In fact, you're going to be really proud about what you're doing. But what we really need to do is get on about a 10, 15-minute Zoom so you can see exactly what we're talking about. I can no more tell you about the last Bond movie. I can tell you the highlights, but until you go sit in the theater, you know, and I know you haven't experienced the movie until you see the whole movie. I want you to see the whole movie. Can we schedule, say, a 10 or 15-minute time zone?
Sure. Yeah, that's
What,
fine.
what works best for you, is morning or evenings?
Um, Probably the morning.
What time frame, say, like between this or that? Give me an idea so I can nail it down.
Maybe like at 10 a.m.
10 a.m. Todd has all your information. I'm gonna send Todd a Zoom link. And
Mhm.
what are you, Eastern, Mountain Time? Where you at?
Central.
Beautiful. Okay, then we'll set that up. And if your husband happens to be around and you want him to join him, by all means, we would love to have him engaged in knowing what you're looking at. But one thing's for sure, I can promise you the worst thing that can come out of this, we become friends, and that wouldn't be so bad, okay?
Yeah.
All right, we'll see you Tuesday at 10 a.m., okay?
Okay.
Thanks a million.
Okay, so here's what I do next. By the way, Fred did that naturally without me. We didn't coordinate. We didn't even talk before this call. So he's just naturally good at it. So when you're doing a cold market approach or a direct approach and it moves to a three-way, that is not the place to close. The reason Brenda was able to close Carrie is because that was a skinny drop conversion. She was already educated. She knew the product. She knew everything. We were just trying to move her from paying retail into a wholesale account, get her a discount, make her some money. Totally different dynamic. This was a business approach. I approached Ann not about losing weight or balancing her hormones or reducing her inflammation. I approached her about making money from her phone because she gave me an opportunity to do that. And I saw she had a skill set, she could do it. So here's how my mind will go next. I need Ann now to meet some people she can relate with. Me and Fred are old men. She's a middle-aged lady. And I need her to meet some other ladies that she would say, oh, people like me are doing this. So Tammy and Sheila, I'm going to reach out to them. And Tammy and Sheila, if y'all don't mind, I'm just like, I have a whole arsenal. You need a whole arsenal of people. So I'm going to ask Tammy and Sheila, listen, I've got this really successful lady. Is there any way y'all could give me like 5 or 7 minutes on a Zoom at 3 o'clock this afternoon? And they're going to say yes, or I'm going to go to somebody who does. And I'm going to find that person. So now we're on the Zoom. I'm not going to pull up my iPad and do the Zoom again, but I will tell you, last week, if you were on the training, if you were not, if you're watching this YouTube video, the previous week we trained on how to do the skinny drop conversion Zoom, and we also trained on how to do the business Zoom. Remember Cindy Landis is who we referred to, her PowerPoint on the business Zoom. It's going to be more business heavy. Not going to be talking about women's hormones for 45 minutes. We're going to talk about making money and delivering the highest quality products on planet Earth to the end consumer. So when we hop on this Zoom, it's now 3:00. Everybody's links out. Nice invitation sent to her. Reminder, like, don't assume she remembers. She's the new one. She's not focused on this like we are. A million things could be distracting her. So I'm going to send her a couple of reminders, get everything confirmed. I'm going to remind Tammy and Sheila. I'm going to remind Fred, and we're all going to arrive. And here's how this presentation is going to start. I'm going to say, Ann, thank you so much for showing back up here today. Before Fred runs through this, how it works, I've asked two ladies that are really successful at this to join us. I really just wanted you to meet them. So Tammy Maltby, she used to be in TV. Her and her husband have been able to retire. He was former Air Force. She lives out in Colorado Springs, but she's become highly successful at this. And when this business found her and her husband had had some things go wrong in the real estate world, and she was having to claw herself back financially, and she's been able to do that in a big time way. And Sheila is from the state of Mississippi. She joined a company similar to this, and now is with us, but she's been making a full-time living at this for a number of years. And Tammy and Sheila, this is Ann. We actually met at an Apple store. We were both getting the new iPhone, and we were just sitting there talking, and she just had the most inviting smile. She had the incredible communication skills, and I just felt like she could be one of y'all. I think she could really do this in a big, big time way. Tammy and Sheila, would y'all mind sharing your experience with the company real quick with Ann before Fred goes through how it all works?
Go ahead,
Go ahead.
Jamie.
Well, good. It's so nice to meet you, Ann. Now, is that true? You have 5 children?
Yes, I do.
Oh my word.
And
You
my,
are
my
so,
and my oldest lives in Colorado Springs.
oh, I love it. That is
Yeah.
so awesome. Well, I have 4 adult children and 7 grandsons.
Oh my
So
gosh.
I can tell you, I understand a very busy life, and that's so beautiful, so wonderful. Do you ever visit Colorado Springs?
I haven't visited since we moved out of Colorado about 18 months ago, so I haven't been back. So I need to go
Well,
back.
if you're ever back, you ring me and we'll have lunch
Okay.
together. I'd love to meet you. But yeah, this business is absolutely beautiful. It's the most amazing, life-giving business for a woman. And I think especially when you have children at home, life is so busy. It's busy, and you don't know what's going to happen from one day to the next day, from one minute to the next minute. I know you understand that so well. But that was my life. I had 4 kids, still have 4 kids, 7 grandsons. And I was looking for another income stream. And I'm sure that's true with you, right? Like any mom
mean,
home with
all the
kids.
time.
Yeah,
Right.
you're always that works with your family because your family is
Right.
the most important part of your life. And so I was looking for an additional revenue of income that could come into our family. I had a full-time job. I was traveling 3 weekends a month speaking and a full-time job. So and my
Wow.
mother lived with me, and she was, like life, it's busy. But what somebody did, which I'm so grateful to every single day, is they introduced me to an idea, another stream of income. And here's the thing, Ann, I was willing to be a lifelong learner. And I tell that to people all the time. When I was traveling and speaking, one of the most important attributes of working with women, and I've worked with women for about 35 years, is that we have to be lifelong learners. We have to be willing to do something we've never done before to get a result we've never had. And so here I was teaching that, and now I got to practice it. And I think that was an opportunity for me. And they introduced me to this concept. And I was like, this is crazy, amazing. And I made a decision. And I think today that's the exciting thing. You get to make a really beautiful decision for you and your family that will be so transformational. It'll give you options, it'll give you freedom. It'll give you that margin you need to be able to do the special things that you want to do with your children. And so that has been my experience with this business. And also a very good friend of mine, Sheila. I've known Sheila for the last couple of years. She came in with another company, but she has another beautiful story on why she got started in this business. And Sheila, why don't you share your story?
Well,
Hey, let me
thank
interject
you.
one thing. I will always give, if I've asked somebody to come help me, I will give them an out That way that way they'll be helping me next time. I don't want to keep Tammy stuck here for an hour on a presentation that doesn't benefit her. So am going to say, Sheila, before you go, Tammy, thank you so much for helping me do that today. Thanks for talking to Ann. If you want to stick around with us, we'd love for you to, but I know you kind of made time to hop on here and talk to her. So if you need to go, it's more than fine. And Sheila, would you mind sharing now?
Let me just say, Todd, I love that because I think that a lot more people will be willing to hop in and do that if they know that they're coming in to validate. So that's a really good tip. Well, Ann, it's such a pleasure to meet you today. And having been in this company for 2 years, I hope that you'll really give it a listen because I can't imagine right now if I had not made the decision to say yes 2 years ago, because a drastic change has happened for me and for my family. And so for me, Todd alluded to that I had been in another company. And so I came with some skepticism, right? Like, is it really as good as they say it is? And so I really had lost a lot of hope. My oldest son had come to live with me in 21 with no income and no insurance due to medical issues. And so money was important for me. I have 4 children as well, 2 grandchildren. I'm right there with Tammy. Like, life is kind of full and I actually want to do a lot of things. And so, I'll tell you what really grabbed my attention, especially when we think about how busy all of us are, is that this company, this field, these people that work these people that have become like family, there's a system. So the reason that I can feel really confident in sharing with others, because like we've all talked about, time's an issue. Time's an issue. And so when I saw there was a system, and then the other piece of this was a system that I could do myself, but also that I could show others how to do. And so something that I could put out there with people and share easily. So what I've watched happen is my own life financially. All of my needs are being met, and I'm also able to help other people with meeting the needs of their families as well. And so the products have to work right. My background is nursing, so it was important to me that there was information and science-backed data to back these products because I've got to feel confident. Not only they work for me, they work for all. The stories are phenomenal. So I'm going to encourage you to give this full attention. It's worth the next few minutes that Todd and Fred are going to share with you. And I'm available to answer any questions as well about that. So Tammy said a word that I really love. You know what it is? Options. We all want options.
Yeah.
And so I encourage you today to really take a look at this and just know that if we're doing it with Big Life and Families, love to see you generate that extra income that could really make a difference for you and your family. Good to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thank you so much.
So, and Fred and I are about to show you how it works. But do you have any questions for Sheila? And if Tammy's still here for her before
No,
they
I
hop off?
that resonated with me, like Tammy saying how she's a lifelong learner. I've always been like that. And just how passionate they are about, helping women and, people have options. I think that's really important.
Todd, can I add something here too? When you are working with women, because I would say 99% of my business is women, and that's my expertise is working with women, is that the more relatable you are to them, the more willing they will be to listen to you. And so I don't talk about my professional background and some of the successes I've had. I never go that direction. Why? Because most women can't relate to it. What they can relate to is being a mother or being a grandmother or not having money or not being able to pay a bill or having money at one time and somehow something happened in their life and they lost that opportunity. The more relatable that you can be and the more positive that you can be. If they have an objection immediately, my goal is to turn it to something positive. Thank you so much for sharing that. I can completely understand where you're coming from. This is what I did with that. And then turn it. Like you will be paid in proportion to the amount of problems that you can solve. when you are talking to someone, if you can keep that positive, keep it relatable, keep it moving quickly, women want to be part of a life-giving community. Put a 1 in the chat if you are a woman and you love the community. Women want to be a part of a life-giving community of women. Most women do not have that. They don't have a life-giving community of women. They want it. So you become that, and then you invite them into your community. That is what I do every single time. And that's why I mean, literally, I do not have one customer in my business. Everyone in my business is a brand partner because I start them off as a brand partner. I want them to be a part of this life-giving community. So when you're dealing with women, it's really, really important that you talk about community, you talk about time, you talk about women joining arms with one another, and that you want them a part of your team. Really, really important.
I'm gonna piggyback on that because when we had the Nashville event, Greg Bibb got up and said something, and this is going to be relevant to people who've been somewhere like in a company. So like Tammy and I both, I'm not exactly sure of Tammy's thing, but when he said this thing, he said it really is, I'm not going to say it the way he said it, but it really sucks basically to have had money, you didn't have it, you got it, and then you lost it. And I would say that even applies, like that's a real,
Yes.
you know what I'm saying, Tammy? Like when
Yes.
Greg said it that day in that meeting, I said, that is something that we probably should say more often, especially to people coming from other companies. But the other piece of it too, Tammy, is what you said, the community. So not only was I grieving the loss of the money, I
Yes.
missed like the team retreats. I was thinking about all the things that we used to do that really not only fed me, but fed people. And so I almost could get emotional talking about that. Really stirred it up. But I'm so thankful for it to have it back. All
This is
of
how real, this is how real it is, Sheila. Like how you feel right now, the woman that you are talking to on a Zoom or a coffee shop or a one-to-one or however you are approaching the business, if you can reach that part of her heart that longs for, yes, financial freedom, options, but if you can create a life-giving community around her that she's not alone, that you are going to be with her in this, that she has found a home. She has found a community that she can
absolutely.
thrive in, and that you are going to introduce her to some fabulous women. In fact, if you're on my team, you know I say this all the time. When I am, bringing somebody into the business, I say, and now I can't wait for you to meet these fabulous women that are a part of my organization. Wait till you meet Brenda Carlton and Julie Park. I'll go through all the names of the women because I want them to have a huge emotional buy-in. I can give facts all day long, folks, on the drops and what they do in the body. Yes, is it important? Yes, it is. Of course it is. But that's not the hook. You've got to get the heart of the person. You have to hear where their pain point is, right? And then you have a solution for that pain point. It's absolutely transformational. You will blow up your business, especially if you're working with women, if you can speak to the felt need of isolation and you can speak to another better way and doing it in a community, you will sign women all day long. All day long, they'll come into your business.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
They
hope
want
that's
to
okay,
feel-
Todd, that I took it that direction.
No.
I
Sorry.
didn't
that's
want to get off on what you were doing, but
that what just happened is the power of bringing in other people that can relate, because as you just heard, Tammy and Sheila are going to know things to say to Ann that Fred and I aren't. You can hear like Ann related to several things they said. I'm going to I think Sheila called it relatability. I'm going to call it vulnerability.
yes.
The more vulnerable we are when we're sharing with others, we all have had crappy times in our life. I always say, if your life is perfect, give it a day. If something's going to go wrong. So like, don't go into these meetings acting like everything's perfect and expect people to join you. Like their life's probably not perfect. Neither is yours. So just go in and say, listen, I've got this business. We need more money at our house and I'd like to be a lot healthier. Like I'm just paraphrasing that. But so that dynamic right there, you just do over and over and over. You're posting twice a day. You heard Tammy say she's got no customers. All hers become brand partners. You convert customers to brand partners on 3-ways and Zooms or coffee shops. The coffee shop and the Zoom are the same thing. One's in person, one's online. And we're going to talk about the drop talks, maybe at a whole different one. I just want to close this out for the day because of time wise. But I wanted at the end for anybody has a question or other comments. So just to conclude, if you're here and you want part-time income, we're looking for 5 exposures a week, whether that be the direct approach, setting up to a 3-way and a Zoom, whether that be a skinny drop sell that I'm now trying to convert over to a brand partner via a 3-way call. So at the end of the week, has Todd Rowland been a part of setting up at least 5 3-way calls or Zooms or getting them into I've got their drop talk in a living room or something. All of this the same. We'll talk about the drop talks. That would be about a 15 or 20-minute deal there to learn the crude invitation there, which Tammy needs to be the expert there. Every time I do a home party for her, she has 100 people in her house and the best food on planet Earth. And then if you want to go full-time at this, like your skill set gets better over time. You can't if you could be a doctor because you wanted to be, there would be no reason to have a college or a med school. So you make a choice to be a doctor, you go to undergrad, you get prepared for med school, you go to med school, then you go into residency, not getting paid for your work. And about 17 years later, you're a high paid doctor with a whole bunch of student loans. Okay. In our business, it's the same thing, except it's on the job training. You join. It's like registering for college if you've never done this before. Like there's so many little intangible things you just heard Sheila and Ann and Fred and Carrie and Brenda all say, and Tammy, that they've learned from years of experience that make them better than average. Their numbers are always going to skew better than somebody who's not good at this because they're really good at it. But I will tell you, you learn that not by just being on this Zoom listening or watching this video. You learn it by doing it. By failure, by picking yourself up and doing it again, not getting your feelings hurt when somebody doesn't join or doesn't show up to the 3-way or doesn't show up to the Zoom. It's happening to all of us all the time. If you're not getting no showed, you're not working. That's just the way our business works. But I will tell you, if you want to get full-time at this, you do it 5 times a day, meaning everybody you're encountering, you're doing a business approach with and trying to get them to a 3-way. Every single customer, I convert on the ask. You can convert it whatever process you want to, but when they ask me for a box of drops, I'm converting right there. I can sell it to you at 167, or you can buy a virtual nutrition store like I did, and you can get them for $100 a box. Your choice. And very few people don't want to pay 167 when there's a way to get them $100 a box. So I immediately moved that to a 3-way or to a Zoom, then to explain what I just said there. So 5 a day. And it does not have to be on Sunday. I encourage everybody to have at least 1 day a week that you rest your body, you pour into your family and your spiritual well-being. But the other 5 or 6 days of the week, activity creates success. Okay. So that being said, I'm going to undo my screen so everybody can see each other. So anybody that wants to, that's making money, like you can't make a comment if you're not making money. It's my golden rule. But if you're making good money at this and you want to make a comment on things you're doing, or if you're not making what you want to make and you want to ask a question, we'll take about 5 or 6, 7 minutes to do that. And you don't have to be shy.
And don't forget to unmute yourself.
So Mark has a question in the chat. He said, what questions are you asking to get to people's pain points? It's a great question, Mark. I would say you have to listen. You really have to listen. You have to listen to how people respond to your story. So when I talk about my story and how my first objective was to buy 4 tires because I didn't have more than $35 in my bank account to buy 4 tires, I'm listening to what's resonating with them. They'll respond to me. The more I share intimate parts, and I think Todd is spot on, vulnerable parts of my story. And then I listen to what they say. What do they pick up on? What is their, are they saying, oh my gosh, I know, I understand that? Or are they saying, oh, that must have been so hard? When they have those responses, one person I realize they can't identify with that. So then I move to another part of my story that they might be able to identify with. So you have to listen really carefully, become a lifelong listener, and sometimes listen to what people aren't telling you. That also is really important. Like when you bring up something, they're not willing to talk about something. So be willing to be vulnerable about that topic for yourself and share openly, not vomiting on people, not like that. But as you share and unveil your story, I find it to be kind of a dance when I'm working with people. Like I'll move this way and I watch if they follow with me. If they want to go a different direction, I got a different dance. I've got to keep moving with people, but being a really good listener, I think really helps to ask those pain point questions.
I
Tammy,
have
I just want,
one,
go ahead.
Todd. You know, and it always works. Once you've made a connection with someone, right past names or eye contact or whatever, and you know, the door will open and you can ask anybody, hey, if you could change anything about your health or your finances, what would that be? And then wait for the answer. And I promise you, the door will open and you can go whichever direction by asking, well, tell me a little more about that. Well, tell me why that's important. You can keep that going and they will walk you right into positioning what we have as a solution to help them wherever they are.
Yeah, and I just want to add to what Tammy said about the listening part. It's so easy to tell people what we want them to know. You have to really focus on it for in the early days. Once you focus on it, you'll get really good at it. But like Ann, in our conversation that we're going to use as an example, the first thing she said is, "What am I getting my iPhone for?" So she opened the door. I was listening. She gave me the window. And so if I don't get a window, you just have to ask enough questions till you finally get one. What do you guys do? How many kids you got? Where do y'all live at? And through that process, you'll find something. Like if you're a good listener, they're going to give you something. You can give you an open door, and it could go either way. It could be a product open door, or it could be a business open door. You just have to be the intent, and you have to go the direction they give you. I'm business all the time. But if somebody gives me a product door, I don't shove my business down their throat. I start exactly with what they ask, and we slowly move it forward from there. But the same
Todd?
token, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I thought there was a little bit of a delay here. Finish your thoughts, sir.
What I was going to say on the same process is that if it's a business approach and you're one of those skinny drop girls and that's the only thing that comes out of your mouth, if it's a business approach, you got to get off the hormone balancing and skinny drop stuff and talk a little bit more about finances with that business approach, or you're only going to end up with imbalanced hormonal people in your business and you're trying to convert to business partners. And then you get business partners, you're trying to sell on the quality of our product. So you've got to be good at going both directions.
Todd, recently there was a family here at the condos where we live that rent some space. We used to rent this place out. But anyway, I met them downstairs in real quick conversation. He said, man, I'd give anything to live here. I said, this particular condo? Yes, here. And I didn't jump all over it immediately. I said, well, that's interesting. So let me ask you a question. What do you currently do? And he told me, and I thought, well, that's a great income. He said, yeah, but it don't go very far in New York. I said, if I could show you a way that money wouldn't be an issue and you could live here, would you be open to a 15 or 20-minute Zoom? Can't do it right here. He said, well, what's it all about? I said, if I tried to explain it to you standing in a carport, I'm going to confuse you and me both, and it's not going to help you at all. I want to make sure you understand exactly what I'm sharing with you, and it may or may not be for you. Worst thing that happens, we've met down here and become friends anyway. So what's best for you? You're on vacation, so let's not do it right now. When's a good time? And we made the date. And in fact, it turns out it's going to be next Tuesday at 10 Eastern, which interferes with our call, but I'm a money call. I'll take it. But see, I didn't fall for the bait. Tell me about it. But I heard what he was saying. I said, are you serious? I was at a gas pump not long ago, and a person was complaining about the cost of gas. And we had talked about a few things real quick in between. I said, let me ask you a question. How would you like to be able to never have to say that again, that something costs too much? So I love that. I said, you know what? There's absolutely a way to do that. I can't explain it to you right now, but I like you got some passion in you, man. I'm looking for people who have some passion. We have a business. We're getting ready to expand. And it may be a good fit, it might not be a good fit. When's a great time for you and I hook up? Let me get your number now and I'll send you a text. And it was it. And of course, he wanted to know, well, can you tell me a little bit about it now? I'm kind of desperate. I said, well, then if you're seriously desperate, then we'll get on Zoom tonight. So, and he never showed up. But the point was, I didn't move. I kept moving towards the target, which was setting the date. He was a no-show. It doesn't have.
Right, I'd say the most important thing you said just now is he didn't show up. So what do you do tomorrow? You meet the next person.
That's right.
Like that's the part everybody has to understand. Nobody wins every conversation. Nobody on this planet in our industry wins every conversation. You can definitely improve your skill set and get way better at your percentages. But the biggest thing is next. Who's next? Who's next that wants to improve health and finances? Sarah, do you see any other questions before we close out?
I have one quick question, Todd. And this could actually be for another part of series or what, with your trainings coming up, but I'd like to know, so I have a lot of customers, right, that I've converted over to 4-packs. And a lot of them were not now and no's to the business because I ask every single person. But what would be like, does anybody know or have had success going back to them because they're going to reach their 4th week here at Ultimate, or, to be able to get them to Ultimate? Like, what are you guys saying to these type of people that are your customers, right, and not at Ultimate yet, to get them, to talk to them about the business again?
So Dr.
Or
Laura, I will
revisit
say,
it.
so, and by the way, everybody out there chime in on this, because I think there's lots of answers to this, but I will tell you my number one tactic isn't what I say. I just relentlessly promote and beg them to plug into something that I think might ignite them, meaning like Saturday morning training this past Saturday with Crystal on the pay plan, a Zoom that I see going on during the week that's going to have a lot of good presenters. Cindy Farley's Tuesday or Thursday night business Zoom, like everything that I know runs well, or I see something come up, or especially if I could get some type of local event going. And then the last thing is that you yourself set up a drop talk at your house and invite them over to your house, and you and Stacy, or you and Ann, or me, whoever, somebody comes and kind of get a little stranger coming to town that pours a little bit of extra firepower. Not that you will need it, but a lot of people would need that. But a drop talk, getting them in a living room and letting them hear others' testimonials, especially if some of those uh, customers that became brand partners really sold 30 boxes and started making money that were in that room, and they could hear and relate. That relatability is what ignites them, because everybody thinks they don't have time. Something has to pop in their brain to inspire them. But that may be the $1,000,000 question of the day, because the ones who get good at that, because every single person you get to activate, you don't even know what that can lead to in time. So every person you don't get to activate, you don't know what that lost, but you don't know who they would have led you to. I mean, that could have been 20,000 people in another country one day if you just got 2 more people down that little rabbit hole. So, by the way, Dr. Laura, I am available. This week I am free almost every day. So you just send me the time you want to do that comp plan training, or questions you wanted to ask. You pick it.
Awesome. Thanks, Todd. Yeah.
Anybody else want to chime into that question? 'Cause that's a
suggestions? Yeah.
great question.
I love that though. Most of my actually business though is virtual, like multiple people out of state. I actually don't have many local. So
Okay, so
yeah.
Dr. Laura, here's what, and this is the piece that I'm trying to learn now. And if you're one of the people doing this, please chime in here. But there are a lot of people doing virtual drop talks via Zoom and or Facebook parties. And what I do, and when I'm a part of some of those, is I use the testimonials the same as if I was in the living room, meaning that if as a matter of fact, I'll be doing one today at noon. I do a Zoom today for 3 or 6 now different leaders, and in that Zoom, I will pull out 5 or 6 testimonials, physically and financially, in that little 15-minute Zoom. And that sometimes it's not as good as in person, but it's still an igniting factor, because it's not information. And Dr. Laura, your asset is you're an OBGYN. People view you with lots of credibility. You're a very good communicator. You're good at this. That's your asset, but it's also your liability, because a lot of women that will look at you, will say, well, she can do it, but I can't. That's where it's going to be hyper important to bring somebody on without your credentials that is having success and let them hear that from them.
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely, I recognize that. So yeah, we're doing some drop talks, but yeah, this was really helpful. So
I think if I was moving as fast as you are, I would have maybe 2 set ones a week. And then there's an army of y'all women. Y'all could do that. And then anytime you needed me to come on, I'd be more than happy to schedule on one too. But there's enough of y'all that y'all could, I think, effectively do that. And then you just have to beg them to show up. Like, beg them. Listen, please just do it for me. Just show up one time. And then whoever you think is coming, then you're going to have testimonials built into that drop talk they can relate to. Like, that's just like, I'm always strategically thinking that way. Always. It's never, like I always say, I don't do anything in this business by accident. Everything is strategically planned in my brain 24/7.
okay.
But thanks for bringing that up, because I will tell you, everybody on this call struggles with that. There's without exception. Okay, so that'll conclude the day, just time-wise. If you're watching this on video, if you want to know how to do that 2-on-1 presentation, that will already be in the recording here. Next week, we're going to have Christy Walsh and others. So if you're really good at this, tell me. We'll use several of you next week, but we're going to train on the actual system of growth. Like, we haven't done a true training on that in a while. We're really going to dive deep, way past the 2-a-day posting, into the reels, the lives, increasing the algorithm, adding the friends, not filling your whole Facebook up with just partner co-friends. It's kind of an Achilles heel, because we all want to be friends with each other, but we can't recruit each other because we're already in the business. And then we think nobody's paying attention to us anymore because we don't have any regular friends out there anymore. So we're going to cover all those things and then move that in to right to the point of what we talked about today, to the conversion to the brand partner, which we won't have to go back and cover this. So thanks for showing up, and Sarah should have this up sometime this afternoon. Thank you for all of your help, by the way.
Thank you.
You'll have a wonderful and blessed day.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks,
Thank
everyone.
you, Paul.
Have a
Thank
great
you
day.
so much, everybody.
Thank
Thank you,
you,
Todd.
Awesome job.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tammy.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brenda. Thank you, Todd. Thank you, Sarah.